here, if you'd ask me, Luella, what's in your fridge right now? I could maybe guess a third of it. Okay, we have some leftovers or whatever, but like there's so much stuff in there and there's so many things in my freezer. I couldn't even tell you what's all in there. Whereas I think you could probably name how
Well,
many.
I can imagine our freezer is like two shelves.
Yeah.
It's like this. So there is ice for cocktails,
Yeah.
probably like 5 packs of ice for cocktails.
Yeah.
And I think there is some seafood
Hmm.
because we do sometimes we buy like I don't know shrimps or scallops and we freeze them then to make pasta easily,
Yeah.
very fast. Uh, and I think we have maybe frozen broccolis or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Max
Exactly.
Max.
Hi, my name is Luella Young. I'm a psychotherapist and coach. And if you're interested in how your lifestyle is affecting your mental health, then you're at the right place. On this show, I interview various guests from across the miles and share how their lifestyle choices affects their sense of self, their wealth, and most importantly, their health. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to I Think I Can podcast. And today I thought I'd do something different. I invited a beautiful woman to my show today. She is a photographer that I hired when I was in Europe, specifically Italy, last April. So we're recording this in January of 2024, and I was in Italy of April 2023. And I found Anastasia by just actually going on Instagram and searching. I'm searching photographers in near me, or no, probably photographers near Rome, or I can't remember what I searched in. And she came up among others. And you know what? We just had little conversations back and forth, and I chose Anastasia. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I'm just going to let Anastasia introduce herself. Welcome.
So, thank you, Luella, for having me. It's a big pleasure that you hired me as a photographer first and that we continued to communicate later. And it's a big pleasure for me to participate in your podcast. Hopefully, someone can hear a good advice, a good tip from my side today. Still, we don't reveal the topic. But just to present myself, I'm a photographer. I would say I'm a professional photographer and stylist. And thanks to my working method that I developed, I create bespoke photo experiences in Italy. Something very unusual, something very unique, depending on every client. But I think we can develop this a little bit later.
Yes, exactly. Now pronounce your last name for us, please.
Okay, so my name is Anastasiia Romashova.
Now, so okay, that's not an Italian name. So tell
Not at
us
all.
tell us where you were born.
So I'm a Siberian girl. So everyone from Canada understands you perfectly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and I married an Italian man. That's why I live in Italy. And I'm here for, I guess, 7 years already. So it's been a while.
Wow. Okay. And how did you meet this Italian man?
Oh, that was easy. 19, when I was 19, so 10 years ago. I went to my first ever trip abroad to Italy with my friend, with 3 girls. And we met in a bar with my future husband. We were just friends. They showed us around. We kept in touch. And after a couple of months, he said that he missed me and he came to visit me in Siberia. That's how our relationship started, actually.
Wow, interesting. You know what? I should have before I started, like I should have just seen like on the latitude, like it's Siberia, like in line with Winnipeg. It'd be kind of interesting to see if it's more northern, more southern. But I mean, before I pressed record, I was telling Anastasia that this morning it was minus 27 here in minus 27 Celsius here in Winnipeg. And she can relate to those temperatures. She says she remembers it well.
Of course, I hoped every morning when I was at school, I hoped that it was lower than minus 30 because when it's minus 32, we should not go to school, for example.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I hope every morning, like, please 32, not 30 or something.
Yeah.
So I really
Yeah.
remember well those times. And it was fun, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? We mentioned this as well before I press record, is that like it's cold outside, but in our houses, whether we're in, Russia or whether we're in Canada, it's always warm inside. Um, and I remember my father, who emigrated from the Netherlands, always saying, like he didn't really care. He said, "You know what? Like the temperature," he says, "it doesn't matter. It's warm inside because." Like in comparison to the Netherlands, and I think in Italy as well, you were saying, I mean, the heating inside the houses is just not the same. Like when the temperature, it's very hard to heat the homes in Europe. It's just a different system of heating, and it's not
I
even.
always have something warm with me, just,
Yes, yes,
just to not to be frozen at home.
yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah. Okay, so and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a lot of comparison, and so I'm gonna ask Anastasia some questions that to me, like there's a method to my madness. I'm going to bring it around later in terms of why I'm asking her these questions. But for now, Anastasia, I just want you to sort of, short answers like yes, no, or just just answer my
Okay.
questions. So, okay. So Anastasia, um do you climb a lot of steps every day? Like do you have stairs in your home right now?
Well, yes, I have, but I live on the first floor, so it's not a lot of steps to climb.
Okay. And then if you're walking about like during the day, like would you say it's common to climb sets of stairs?
Not really. Like in the city center, it may happen because sometimes city centers in Italy have different layers and you need to go up to climb up because they're on the hills. But
Yes.
if you really go to the city center, I don't think you climb stairs.
Yeah, not so much. Okay. Okay. Now, do you have a smartwatch? Do you own a smartwatch?
No.
Okay. Do you know? So no. Um, do you are you cognizant? Are you aware of how many steps a day you do? Have you ever heard about?
Yeah. I have an application on my phone that I never check actually, but
Yeah.
sometimes I get some notifications.
Yeah.
Well, usually when I work as a photographer, it means that I move a lot. It's around 20,000 steps per
Okay.
day.
Okay.
I don't work. If I work at home, from home, it can be 5,000
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you go to a gym?
sometimes.
Okay. Do you have a membership at a gym?
Okay, not right now. It's been like in the beginning of December, and my husband just called the gym like 2 days ago to renew the membership because of the festive period. We did not really think of gym.
Right, exactly, exactly. Okay. Would you say it's common that people do have gym memberships
It depends.
of your friends? Like,
I think maybe 30% of our friends have membership, but it does not mean they always go to the gym.
okay,
I
yes,
mean, I'm member of a gym for 3 years, but usually sometimes I have a period like first month I go 3 times a week, and then I don't go for 1 month or something. I try to go to the gym, but I can't say that I'm the right example.
Yeah. No. Well, I know. I think you're very normal. So like I think what you're saying is that of all your friends, you said 30% go to the gym, and of that 30%, maybe half go regularly. So when you think of it, maybe 15% of the
Yeah.
people attend a gym. Okay. Or we'll just say we don't even say attend a gym. We can say prioritize, exercise. But I'll get back to that later. Okay, so do you drive to work?
Yes and no, depends where I go. But
Right.
the car,
You do have a car.
yes.
But you and your spouse each
We
have a
have
car?
one car.
Yeah.
We share one car.
Okay. Okay. Um, how do you live in a house or an apartment?
It's an apartment in the
Okay.
country. It has only 4 apartments. This house has only 4 apartments, so it's small.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any idea what like the measurements of the space? Like it would
Uh,
be
yes, I think is without balconies and terraces. I think it's 80 meters square, something like.
okay. Okay. And we don't use meter. It's so strange in Canada. Like some things are metric, some things are um oh
What do you use? 80 meters square.
square feet, square footage. Yeah.
Meters. Square to feet. 860
860 square feet.
feet.
Okay. Okay, that's a good size. That's quite nice.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not big, but
It's
we have enough space
yeah.
compared to flats in the say city center of Milan or uh,
Yeah.
where it's normal to live in 30 meters square or something like.
Right, right. Okay. And then so what city are you in?
I live near Rimini. Rimini is a sea resort, but I live in a village that is 8 kilometers outside from Rimini. That is called Villa Verrucchio.
Oh boy. Okay, so give us an idea in relation to Rome and Florence, maybe. Like where would that be situated?
I can tell you by train how to get there by train. It's 4 hours to Rome, 2.5 hours to Florence, 3 hours, 4 hours to Venice and to Milan.
Okay, so it's
It's
north of
central Italy.
yeah, it's central Italy. Okay, yeah.
It's officially it's actually the south of the north of Italy. It's just the border.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Center.
Okay. Okay, I can picture it.
on,
Okay.
on Adriatic coast.
Sorry?
On Adriatic coast. Adriatic Sea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah. So how long would the drive be then to the coast?
20 minutes?
Nice. Nice.
But I
Okay.
never go there.
Okay.
It's always like this, where you live near the sea, you don't really go to the sea.
Right. Okay, well that brings me to another question. Um how often did you leave Italy in 2023? How often did you leave the country?
Well, I actually like my, let's say, most active working period is from April till October.
Yeah.
And during this period, it's hard to travel because, like, usually I have lots of work and
Yeah.
I traveled only in Italy. I travel a lot in general,
Yeah.
but only in Italy because Italy is such a beautiful country.
Yes.
There are many places to discover. So from October, I traveled to Malta, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Lithuania, Austria. And in April, I traveled to Armenia. So it's 7 countries.
See, I mean, that's amazing. Like, I mean, you just said like when during my busy work period, I don't really travel except for traveling within Italy. And then in your, in the small amount of time, let's say November to end of March.
December.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like it's that's amazing. That's amazing. Um,
Because I
because
love travels, and when I can't do it, I know that I will do it when I don't work. And so when I don't work, I know that I need to use this time to the full to travel as much as I can to get new energy to work.
yes, exactly. And but wouldn't you say that many Europeans feel the same way as you though, that they really have the urge to travel whenever they can?
Well, it depends on the generations, I think.
Yeah.
I guess like people of my age, like from 20 to 40, travel more, but not always. Like more students travel, and because many people are afraid to travel because they don't know how to travel.
Mm.
And if it's so close and it's actually very, you can travel with a good price because like to travel from Canada to Europe or from Russia to Europe is much more expensive.
Yeah.
Here in Europe, you can have a weekend for 500 euros easily in for
Mhm.
2 people. But many people, like many old people here in Italy, especially near the sea coast, they don't want to travel because they think that's the best place that exists on the planet Earth. And that's a pity because they don't.
Yeah.
There are many other nice places in the world.
Yes, yes, yeah.
But many people are very like they like I kind of don't think when I travel, and that's a good thing because I had never been there. Let's go. I had never been there. Let's go. I just opened like in September. I opened a map and they said, okay, we haven't visited these countries. Let's go there, there, and there. So
Mm.
and very easygoing, but I don't think the majority of people are like this. Maybe more in Germany, maybe more like in Europe, people move a lot, travel a lot, but I can't say that the majority of people does the same.
Okay, no, yeah, and we were also sort of discussing a few days ago how Northern Europeans are different from Southern Europeans, and I think yeah, Northern Europeans would reflect a little bit more of, I think I would say, a North American sort of mindset. Um, but I mean, I also realize that, like, and you're saying as well, like, it's not just, okay, you live in this part of Europe, you necessarily think like this. I mean, obviously, your age and your characteristics are I mean, you are an artist. You have a creative mind. I think you are okay with uncertainty. It's, I'm going to try this.
It's my life.
Pardon?
Uncertainty is a part of my life.
Yes, yeah, yeah, and you embrace it and you have fun with it. Like there's no such thing as, you know, oh, that was a wrong country to go to, right? Like I mean, there's no such thing because
No,
it's
everything.
yeah. Yeah. So, okay, what's a typical weekend like for you?
I don't have typical weekends.
Okay, there you go.
So it really depends because the work of photographer sometimes means that you work during the weekend. Sometimes it means that you work during holiday. Like
Yeah.
it's no, I organize it myself, but I like my way of life because okay, sometimes I have to work a lot, but then I know that I can have 1 week of holidays.
Yeah.
So times during like let's say typical Italian weekend, I guess it's to go to a farmhouse for a lunch with friends.
Mm.
We have lots of beautiful farmhouses that are called agriturismo.
Mm.
sometimes it means a place where you actually stay for a night, but sometimes it's a place where you eat, or both.
Mm.
Depends on the region. In Tuscany, it's more casale. It's another kind of place where you can eat typical food that's very important in Italy. They call food chilometro zero, from 0 kilometer. It means local.
Mm.
So what's grown there in the territory? And sometimes it can be boring because like if I live in the same city for many years, there is always the same food. And sometimes I want, I don't know, ramen. I want wok. I want, I don't know,
Exactly.
or something different. But for tourists, I think is a great thing in Italy because you can really try local food, local recipes of grandmothers.
Yeah.
And I would say typical weekend would be like to have a walk maybe in the city center on the nature and to have lunch in a farmhouse.
Okay, nice. Okay. And what would you do in the evenings, let's say? What would be a typical, if you want to say such thing as a typical evening?
I think it's aperitif.
It's what?
Aperitif. A very typical Italian thing is a drink with some snacks before the dinner.
Right. Yeah.
And you usually go to the city center just to have a drink. And the cafe, the restaurant gives you some snacks. Sometimes it's just chips. You call them
Yeah.
chips.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's even little pizzas, or some little, I don't know, nuts.
Yeah.
Something that
Yeah.
actually can be a dinner.
Yeah.
Nice thing, again, to talk with friends or something like. Some people go to the shopping mall or to the cinema. Or like during the winter, I really like to get with friends to play board games.
Oh.
But typical Italian thing, I guess, thanks to COVID, people started to play board games.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So, one thing, I mean, the reason I asked that too is I think so much of the Southern European culture and perhaps North, but I think it's more Southern is it's not just like you stay at home with your partner and turn on the TV. Like it's like everything that you mentioned is, well, I mean, like, could you make a drink at home? Yeah, I suppose you could, but you could also go to, the city center or piazza and have a drink at a nice cafe. And like, I mean, what I'm saying is like it's a lot about community. It's a lot about sharing with other people, sharing food, sharing conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so embedded in your culture. Whereas
Even like breakfast. Breakfast is important in Italy, and many people go to a bar to have breakfast.
yeah, okay, but you have to explain what a bar is. Here in North America, a bar is where you have drinks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, bar in Italy, it's basically a coffee shop.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can have a drink there in the evening as well, but people go there to drink coffee because there is a culture of coffee in it.
Yes.
I don't drink coffee, but even I go to a bar because it's a place to socialize. It's a place where you can know the last gossips of the town.
Yeah.
Where you can usually people take a croissant, brioche, cornetto, and the coffee. Obviously, just espresso or espresso with a little bit of milk, and the newspaper. And if like what I like is that I can see often in the city centers, I can see lots of pensioners going to a bar all together, and they spend there all the morning, like 3-4 hours having breakfast, and that's amazing because like these people don't feel lonely. They just don't stay at home watching TV. But they socialize, they communicate, and that's an amazing thing. I really like this feature of Italian, of South European culture.
I know it is so beautiful.
Of course, they spend money. They can do it at home. They can eat healthier food at home. They can drink coffee at home. But first, coffee is not as good as in the bar.
No.
Never. Oh, no, it's a different thing. And secondly, it's about society.
Yeah.
It's about education.
Yeah. It is beautiful. It is. I loved it. I loved it so much. I mean, I would look forward to that coffee so much. And and I would drink it as slow as I possibly could. And then the foam at the bottom, I would be like, I would want it to like lick it up, but like, I mean,
that's the best part. That's the best part. You have to take a spoon.
Yes.
The foam with the sugar, like the remaining, that's the best part.
The best.
I like it. I don't like coffee, but I like that part of the coffee.
Yeah. So are you saying you drink coffee even though you don't like it?
No, I don't drink coffee, but I like the bottom. Where there is the foam with the sugar. I drink ginseng. I don't know. Do you know what is this?
No.
It's very typical in Italy. It's a coffee with a root. It's an Asian root called ginseng.
Ginseng. Ginseng. I think it's an Asian tea. Ginseng. Yeah.
It's an Asian root, and they now in Italy in every bar you can find this kind of drink. I don't like coffee because it's too strong for me.
Yeah.
Ginseng coffee. It's kind of, usually it's already with the sugar.
Yeah.
It comes with sugar. It's of the size of cappuccino, small size. So it's already sweet. It gives you some energy, but it's not as strong as coffee.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's actually very tasty, especially red ginseng. So I recommend you to try it.
Okay.
Or if you can find it anywhere in the world. It's a nice thing, and it's very like fashionable drink, let's say here. Ginseng orzo, but I can't translate orzo. Wait. It's another, I guess, and it's not sweet. Orzo, barley.
Barley. Oh. Okay.
So it's because people say that coffee is not very good for health.
Right.
Invented these roots that are kind of better. But
yeah, actually, I don't think it is the ginseng that I'm thinking of before. It's what is it?
No, those are two different things, two totally different drinks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But
So
they serve it in the bar instead of coffee.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. The other coffee, I can't think of the name of it, but I actually have some at home. I can't think of the actual name of it. Oh, it's bugging me. But I know what you mean. It's barley. Yeah.
It's totally different taste. And for example, I don't really like barley because it's also strong and not very sweet. Not sweet enough for me, let's say.
Yeah. So you add
definitely something to try. Why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cafe Orzo. Interesting. Barley coffee. Okay. Yeah, originating in Italy. Interesting. Okay. Well, okay. Let's switch it a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about healthcare in Italy. What do you typically do if you have a cold? What would you do? Like,
I call my mom.
You call your mom. Okay.
Okay. If to be honest, sometimes when I really feel that something is bad, I WhatsApp my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I never go to the doctor. I just WhatsApp her.
That's possible? You can WhatsApp your doctor?
Yes.
Interesting.
So everyone has a therapist, like like the general doctor.
Yeah.
Gives you that you first have to come to the general doctor, and then the general doctor will say, okay, now you do some blood test, I don't know, and then you can go to another specialist. You need to book it, and she need to give you a permission to book a further doctor. Let's say.
Okay.
So it's super long process, and usually when I need to go, like when I need to check my health, I go back to Russia because it's much more efficient, faster, and cheaper.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. In
I
Italy, like I think Italian healthcare is very good when you have something very serious,
yes.
like I don't know, something very serious.
Yes.
But if it's something easier, like it's better not to be sick because, for example, my boyfriend, my husband, when he felt sick, something in the stomach, he came to the how it's called, the place where you come for emergency.
Yeah, the emergency room. Yeah.
Exactly. And we stayed there like 8 hours, 8 hours,
Mm.
wait, just for nothing, actually. They said, okay, it will pass or something like this. So healthcare in Italy, like basic healthcare, I think it's horrible, honestly. That's why it's
Yeah.
it's better. Like, for example, I'm planning now to go to Russia to visit my family, to Siberia, and I will do all the doctors
Interesting.
at
Yeah.
once. And if they say in Italy, it's actually for free, but it's not for free because you have to pay the ticket. It's called ticket, to visit every doctor, 30 euros. And
Mm.
and if you go to a private doctor, is 150 probably. Often they don't tell you anything, like they don't even help you. They should say, that's okay. My
Yeah.
previous general doctor told me, you can drink some grappa. Grappa is like vodka, but from Italian mountains, from grape, and it will pass. I said, perfect, amazing, amazing advice. Because I think, like in our country, in Russian tradition, people care a lot about health,
Yeah.
and people are afraid, and all the viruses, we get special medicaments, antiviruses, and in
Yeah.
Italy, they don't give you medicaments, antiviruses. They give you only something to lower your temperature, and that's
Mm.
all. Like
That's all.
everything, yes, everything should, you should, like your body should do everything its own. But sometimes I prefer to cure something faster.
Yes.
I, I'm an orphan person, so I prefer to cure something faster. I was thought like this. And then it is like, oh, don't worry, that's okay. It will
Y-
pass.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like I remember my brother, well, I think typically he would go see the pharmacist. He would just walk to the pharmacist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
usually go to the pharmacy and I ask, what should I do?
Yeah. 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 And then often I think it's some sort of herbal medicine.
Oh, really often, yeah, but I don't really believe in herbal um, medicaments when you are very sick. I
Right.
believe it's like, for your, in general, like to feel healthy. But when you're very sick, I think you need medicaments, like real ones.
Right, right. Okay, but it's not, I mean,
But in Italy, many people take something herbal,
yeah.
and it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it depends on the person, right? It all depends on how confident I think you feel in.
But herbal shops are quite spread here. You can
Mhm,
find often.
mhm.
And homeopathy, how it's called, homeopath. When there is almost no medicament inside, there is just one, let's say, drop in the pill, and you take it, and because you believe that it helps, it helps.
Oh, a placebo, almost like I
Um,
think
yeah, I will translate it.
yeah.
Homeopath, homeopath.
Oh, homeopathic. Yeah, homeopathic. Yeah. Yeah, that's more like
And you can find quite a lot of pharmacies like this as well here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so let's something which I find, like I mentioned to you before we press record too, that I think so much of our mindset here in North American is bigger, better, stronger, faster. And I mean, I think another
More
big
ambitious, maybe.
more ambitious, but it's very, I think, money driven. I think the bigger and fatter your wallet, the happier you will be. I think that's the message that's driven. Um, Now, like, how about yourself? You said you're 29. You've been married how long?
Half a year.
Half a year. When did
Together
you
for 10 years. We're together for 10 years and a half. So we got married the date of our 10 years anniversary.
Oh, nice. Okay, when was it then? It was
24th of July,
20.
2020.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so yeah, it was after I saw you. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay. So yeah, I didn't think you were married when I saw you. Okay. Um so what I mean, how much time and planning do you do around, building your wealth or getting richer? I mean, like, what do you have conversations about that? Like, do you think do you start talking about, well, we want this size of a house or we want this kind of car because we want, 2.5 children and we want, like, do
Well,
you,
I understand what you mean. I'm
okay,
Russian, so I'm very
right.
similar to North American kind of mentality, but I married an Italian man.
Yes.
I
Yes.
need to slow down. And planning is not, I guess, the strong part of Italian habits at all.
No, no.
I think, like, I guess sometimes it's hard to plan even something for the weekend because it's better to wake up and see.
Yes. Yeah.
So planning a big, like, no, it's
No.
for some people plan, some people, but it's much less than in northern countries,
Yeah.
like really less. And here, Italy, I think, is the country where lots of people have houses already, thanks to grannies, parents, or someone else.
Yeah.
And often they just will live there forever and they don't really want to change anything because it's too complicated to change anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
it's very like easy. You
yeah.
can drive the oldest car ever, like 20 years old car of your branded, and it's totally fine because who cares? It's better if we spend money on the restaurants, on food, because that's where Italians spend lots of money.
Yeah.
And it's not like in Russia or I guess in Canada, in the USA, where people need big cars,
Yeah.
they need houses, they need things to show off, or just because it's probably more comfortable for living. But I guess in Italy, people think more about tasty food
Yeah.
and enjoy in the moment.
Yeah.
That's good sometimes, that's bad sometimes, but that's their life and that's the South European kind of living. And they live for many years actually.
Yeah. It's because they're not stressing over these things. And like, I mean,
They don't think about work as much as we think in the northern countries.
yeah. 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 In the northern countries, it is more it's more similar to North American, but not even as much as the North Americans either, though, I don't think. I mean, I think Northern Europe is sort of between North America and Southern Europe in
Mm-hmm.
terms of, yeah, the whole money culture and but like for example,
Holidays.
and holidays as well. Yeah.
For example, I have a friend that he doesn't travel so much. He travels, but usually to Sardinia because Sardinia has the best sea, according to Italians. And so he goes to Sardinia sometimes. But in August, there is a festive day, 15th of August, 14, 15 of August, where people rest. It's basically summer New Year parties, everyone goes to the sea, and people don't work. And usually many companies, almost all main companies that don't work in tourism are closed in this period, at least for 1 week. Sometimes for 2, sometimes for 3, so it depends. Many companies just close their doors and people don't have any options. They have to have holidays. That's all. But for example, this my friend, his company worked and he didn't plan any kind of holiday, but he got his 3 weeks in August because he wanted, like, he didn't do anything. He was at home to relax. He was going to the beach sometimes. But for me, it's strange because if I have 28 days of holidays, I really calculate how to, let's say, use them in the best way.
Yeah.
Because people here have 4 weeks of holidays, more or less. Like, I'm a photographer, so I decide my holidays, but normally I say, but I think it's an example of how people live their life. He didn't have anything interesting to do, but he wanted to relax. And he got, like, his boss was a little bit angry because, why? You're not going anywhere. What are you doing? Like, work. And he said, no, I want my 3 weeks of holidays. That's all.
Yeah. So, no, it's, there's not this need to do something, this need to, I don't know. I mean,
you can just have holidays when you want. Why not?
No, but like,
because you want.
See, but like, I think here in North America too, I think a lot of, like, I mean, I know that I feel like I'm working for my children. Like, I'm working so that I can have them have a easy start, maybe own a home, like, but I think for a lot of Italians, like you said, I mean, if they're going to have a home, like a house, if they're going to be able to own a house, chances are that house has been passed, they've inherited that house. To buy a new house would be, I mean, they would have to be extremely wealthy, right? I mean, that's just not an option for most people. Most people
Well, there are two options. Or because I think in Italy, all the salaries are more or less equal, let's say.
Yes, exactly.
Of course, not all, but the majority of people, I think, gain from 1,500 to 1,200.
Yep.
There's still 1,800, the majority. Of course, there are wealthy people. There are some poor people. But the majority doesn't matter if you have several degrees and PhDs, or if you just work in a supermarket, more or less everyone is equal.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because let's say it's good because people don't feel bad, like they can do whatever.
Yeah.
They just feel good because in any case, they have more or less the same level. But that's bad because if you have ambitions and if you want to gain more, you don't. Just because the system, the whole country does not work this way. Some companies that are more Northern Europe, the companies that think in a Northern American way, they do, like, they can raise salaries faster. And, they can have some stimulations, let's say.
Yeah.
Well, if people just gain the same money and they don't have any extras, what they have, but it's not like in Russia where you can, I don't know, in March you can gain 1,000, in December you can your salary can raise until 3,000.
Yeah,
like, it's possible because if you are great at work, if you do a good job, you get a good salary. Here doesn't really matter.
Yeah. But and I mean, honestly, is that, to me, is just a much better way of living. Because I also noticed, it's hard to describe, but when I was in Italy, it's like, I would ask my brother for suggestions, should I go to this clothing store or that clothing store, or should I buy groceries here, or should I buy some, food there? Or because in North America, like, there's, like, we'll say, oh, don't go there, that's so expensive. Don't go to that shop's so expensive. Or, oh, they sell their food, their prices are way too high. Go to this one, their prices are much lower. Like, you never know where to go because you feel like, oh, I'm going to make a mistake, by going to this store, or I'll lose a lot of money by going to that store. But that's what I found so beautiful. Like in Italy, it's sort of, you can go to that clothing store, you can go to that clothing store. It's all the same. Like, one jewelry store is not so much better than the other. It's all the same. There's no competition. And I love that about, your work ethic too, because here in North America, like everything is so evaluated, it's based on evaluation. It's always a comparison. One is better than the other. And I think, and this is what we should talk about too, is like, I think this is why our mental health in North America is as bad as it is, because we're always comparing, ourselves to other people constantly, and feeling guilty if we're not doing more. Um, because again, bigger, better, faster, stronger. Um, and and even with our 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 plates, like I mean, like I mean, the if you go to a restaurant, like do they serve a lot of food, or are your portions small? And if you think your portions are small, you think you got ripped off. That's not a good restaurant because their portions are so small. Like everything's based on bigger, right? And
Yeah.
uh, I think it's so hard on people's mental health and their bodies, because like, I mean, processed food, right? Like fast food, like everything's, the quicker you can stuff something down your throat so that you can get back to work, the better. Everything's quicker, faster, more
That's
efficient.
true. I think that's something you can find also in Milan, in big cities,
Oh,
because
really?
it's big city, so you need to be fast, you need to be quick. That's why there are lots of takeaway restaurants where you just grab a bowl,
Yeah.
or you grab even pasta. You can like something fast. But I think mainly in Italy, people take their time to eat,
Yeah.
and it's nice because they like many people love cooking. Like my husband loves cooking, so he always wants to invent something new to
Mm,
create. And I serve nice plates, beautiful like I don't know
mm,
candy or something. So it's time, because we have such a hectic life, all of us in all the world, but it's us actually who decide what to prioritize and what to focus on. If we eat with the phone in the hand, we
yeah.
won't feel the food.
Yeah.
But if we, for example, serve the table in a nice way, we won't even take a picture because it's beautiful. We enjoy, so we like, because like I'm a photographer, so aesthetics is very important for me. I need to see something in a beautiful way. Otherwise, I don't like it. So even like how to put food, like my husband, for example, he is a programmer, so nothing to do with the aesthetics, with the creativity. But in any case, for him is important. If we put mashed potatoes in that way, then meatballs that way, and then something else in a beautiful way. So it's important as well, and it's actually not difficult. You spend 1 minute more maybe to serve a dish in a nice way, but you enjoy much more. And these little pleasures of the life are something that I think everywhere in the world people need to think a little bit more. Because when you treat yourself well, then your self-confidence raises. You feel better. You start to pretend that other people need to treat you well because you treat you well. So it's normal for you. And I think that's how people became happier in general.
Yeah. Exactly. It's okay, so what what would be a normal day of, let's say, eating for you? Like, do you go to a cafe most mornings? On when do you stop for lunch? How much time do you take for lunch? And dinner?
So in the morning, usually in my working period in summer, we really often don't have lots of food at home, and we eat almost always outside. So we stop in a bar to take in Italian bar to take brioche, croissant. Sometimes we eat it. We don't have time to stay there, so we take it away and we go to office, or I eat in the train because if I need to take a train at 6 in the morning, I don't really want to spend more time in the coffee shop. Like
Yes.
taste it properly. Then for lunch, we sometimes cook something, but quite fast. We serve it in a nice way, however.
Yeah.
It's or pasta, or I don't even know, maybe a soup, like no soup, or I really like soups.
Yeah.
In northern countries, I guess it's something very typical. In Italy, it's not very common.
Mhm.
It helps the digestion, so I'm happy about it. In the evening as well, sometimes we just go out with friends, or like I think in Italy, people, lots of people like eating outside. It's normal,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
something. Wow, they go outside, they eat outside. It's expensive. It's just normal.
Yeah.
Of course, prices here are not as high as I don't know in Norway, for example. Like
Yeah.
you spend 30 euros normally for two. Of course, if you go to a nice restaurant, you will spend more. But
Yeah.
it's simple, osteria, trattoria, take two pastas, maybe water and two glasses of wine. You pay 40 euros, and you're happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Sometimes you take pizzas or anything else.
yeah, yeah. It's and in terms of how would I say? You know, I think I was gonna like I'm curious too to know how many things you even have in your fridge or your freezer. Like here, if you would ask me, Luella, what's in your fridge right now? I could maybe guess a third of it. Like, I mean, okay, we have some leftovers or whatever, but like there's so much stuff in there. And there's so many things in my freezer. I couldn't even tell you what's all in there. Whereas I think you could probably name
Well,
probably
I can imagine our freezer is like two shelves.
yeah.
It's like this. So there is ice for cocktails,
Yeah.
probably like 5 packs of ice for cocktails.
Yeah.
And I think there is some seafood
Hmm.
because we do sometimes we buy like I don't know shrimps or scallops and we
Hmm.
freeze them then to make pasta easily,
Yeah.
very fast. Uh, And I think we have maybe frozen broccolis or something like
Yeah. Yeah.
packs
Exactly.
max. Like sometimes, like we don't really keep anything in the freezer because it's important to eat fresh food.
Yeah.
But when we go to a farm to take meat, because we don't really buy meat in the supermarket because it's horrible quality, even in Italy. So we go to the farm where they raise animals and we take meat there. In
Yeah.
this, yes, our freezer is full, but remember our freezer is like
Yeah.
with four things, maybe five inside.
Yeah. Yeah. And how often would you say you eat red meat in a week? Yeah, let's not count salami and things like that. Like just, a steak or hamburger or things like that.
Well, I love meat. I love red meat. I would eat it every day. But we are sometimes lazy because we need to drive 30 minutes to the mountains to get to the farmhouse to take fresh meat.
Yeah.
So it really depends. Like usually, I think maybe 3 times per
Yeah.
week we go to that beautiful, amazing shop, even more often. But
Nice.
we have like we balance between seafood and fish and meat. I'm not vegetarian at
Mhm.
all, so a dish should have meat or fish or seafood for me. But I
Mhm.
think kind of balance it. Probably more fish, just because it's easier to buy it in the supermarket.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's probably fairly local as well, like for the fish, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Um,
easy. You just put it in the oven with some lemon, tomatoes, onion, and that's all.
exactly. I know, I know. Okay, so let's I want to ask you, of the friends that you know, how first of all, how many people do you know that see a therapist? Or I mean, okay, granted, I mean, that's not something that maybe everyone would even know, right? Because here, even in North America, like, I mean, there could be many people I
People don't
know.
talk about it.
Exactly. But how many, like, if you had an idea, like, I mean, how are people's mental health in general, would you say? How your friends, for example, like, do they seem happy? Do they seem worried? Do they,
Well, in Italy, it's not common at all to see a therapist. Only if you have very um,
severe mental
severe
disorder?
problems.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I honestly know only one friend that went to the therapist in his life in Italy. I know for kids it's common and it's even kind of it's not obligatory, but at schools somehow it's normal that children need to go to the therapist to talk
Oh,
something.
okay. Yeah.
School, it's more common. Among adults, I actually think everyone needs to see a therapist or a coach, not because everyone has problems, but because the life can be even better.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have a nice coach if you have a nice therapist.
Yeah.
And um, in Russia, for example, now it's quite common. Many people go to the therapist. It's even fashionable. It's not fashionable if you don't go.
Hmm.
Oh, a coach. Yes, because people understand that it's a person who really helps you to resolve your problems.
Mm-hmm.
So to do it quicker, you can do it much quicker if you go to a coach or therapist. You can do it alone, but maybe it will take you 10 years, and with the coach, it will take you 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's Northern mentality. In Italy, it's not common, and I think it's even strange if you go to therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say that people really need it, but I think everyone in the world has problems.
Yeah.
I mean, normal. We are all humans.
Yes.
Uh, but no one really in Italy goes to
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rare.
Yeah. Well, I the only reason I bring that up is I think we, like, as I mentioned, I think in North America, we bring on a lot of these problems just through the whole idea of always trying to do and compete and
I
more
think
money.
there are much more problems, mental problems in northern countries than in
Yes.
the southern countries, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you also mentioned, your visit to the Norwegian countries, and yeah,
There is a ministry of loneliness.
yes,
Of loneliness. Can you imagine how horrible it is? I mean,
horrible.
and is trying to help people to meet, and they have even special rooms, special areas where people can gather for free to consume their tea and some for free, just to stay with someone to talk, because people just don't talk, they just don't communicate, and that's a typical northern mentality. While in Italy, people, of course, from south to north, people are different, but people here communicate a lot. It's easier. Like I go outside and I can talk to someone.
Yeah,
Just to talk
yeah,
about, oh, have you seen there is a new shop?
yeah,
Russia, you would never ask anyone, like, have you seen there is a new shop? Who are you?
yeah,
Why are
yeah,
you?
yeah, exactly. I mean, they would say, "Oh my God, strange person, don't talk to this person." Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here
uh,
is totally normal. You can have small talks everywhere, and it's nice.
yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. It's like you get to know everyone. I mean, even the short time that I was staying with my brother in Monte San Savino, I mean, I knew the butcher well, like, I mean, I knew the owner of the cafe, really well. Like, it's the pharmacist I knew well. Like, it was just, yeah, I love it.
But that's a nice thing about Italy, small businesses. So
Yeah.
I think it's the country with the biggest quantity of small family businesses.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to manage them because of taxes and everything. But I'm really grateful to Italy that here many restaurants are family-owned restaurants, and the owner, they know you, and you feel like in the community, you feel a part of a family, and sometimes you even feel like, oh, maybe we need to come back to that restaurant, otherwise they will think that we don't like them. So, I mean, sometimes it's a nice thing actually, because we try to support local businesses rather than big chains. So I'm happy to purchase something in a local shop, just because I know that this exact person puts lots of effort and to run the business. Of course, I shop in mass market and big brands, but I feel happier if I shop, like if I go to a local restaurant or family-owned small one, because I know that I help their family
exactly
to prosper. And that's all about Italian way of Italian solidarity, friendliness, how they are really friendly, because they know that their restaurant, if they are not friendly, people won't come back. But they are friendly not because they want people to come back, because they are like this.
Yeah.
That's their way of being, because they feel happy. They like that they work all days without holidays. They just love what they do. And that's why I think Italy has such a big success. Apart from architecture, everyone loves Italian food. And because people put soul, put their heart in what
Yes.
they're
And the clothing as well. I think Italians gladly pay, for their food. They gladly pay for their clothing, and all of it is just it makes them feel better. It makes, yeah, it's not wasted. Sure, you could buy this shirt at H&M, or you could cook at home, but it's not the same. It's because of you're contributing to a community. It's sharing, it's caring. It's an exchange of
That's just
love.
a different feeling. You feel loved, you feel cuddled, you feel that people are waiting for you, you feel welcome. And for example, I told you that we've been to Scandinavian countries lately, and to Vienna. No, it was in Vienna actually. Vienna is one of the busiest cities during Christmas period, because it's super beautiful, beautifully decorated. Many people go there. We entered the coffee shop. No one even told us hello. We walked inside. No one told us anything. We checked the interior design. We thought we like it, we don't like it. We just went out. No one told us anything. And it was like so unwelcome. But it's from one side, it's good, because no one cares about you. You're in a big city, so you can do whatever. You can just go and see without consuming. In Italy, I would feel like I need to talk to someone. I need to do a compliment. For sure, I need to do a compliment to say, oh, how beautiful is this place? Because you just can't enter without telling anything. You will be rude, you as a client.
Interesting.
So that's why people, communication is a must. You just can't say hi. You need to say, hi, it's such a lovely place. Can I have a look? And even if you don't consume anything, you just go to have a look. Everyone is okay. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah.
But you need to talk. You need to do compliments.
Yeah.
Your compliments. Otherwise, you will look like rude.
Yeah.
And that's a big mistake that tourists do in Italy. They don't talk.
Yeah.
Guys, listen to me. Talk to Italians. Always do a compliment. and then you will be treated as kings and queens.
That's a very good point. Thank you for mentioning that. Well, we should probably close up here soon. And one thing that you mentioned to me too, and I had to laugh about is like you said that you don't know what most of your friends do for a living. And I was just like, that is incredible because it's one of the first, if for sure, the second questions we would ask somebody if we met somebody at a party or at an event, and
Well, that's probably the same in Italy. You ask it when you first meet, but then you forget because no one talks about work
okay.
and cares about work. When you are outside from work, you don't complain about work and you don't talk about it. You talk about food, food, and food. And that's all. And I think that's why it's actually nice, like come to Italy for holidays. I always suggest and I always recommend not just to visit main cities, main big cities and sightseeing, but try to meet locals. There are so many websites like Couchsurfing or like websites where you can just gather with locals and see how they live. Because the secret of Italian Dolce Vita that I promote
Yes.
in my photo shoots is actually to enjoy, to relax, and to be like you need to treat people as you want to be treated yourself.
Mhm.
You are smiling. If you do compliments, you enter. Who knows? Maybe the barman will like you and he will bring you one more cocktail just because you were welcoming and smiling.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all about exchange of positive energies, about positive things, and you can hardly experience it in big cities because big cities are touristic cities. People go there. If you go to a little village like Monte San Savino, and you
Mhm.
just go there to a bar and you do a compliment, even in English, even if people don't understand, they will appreciate, and you will feel this kind of Italian Dolce Vita, like how people feel just to relax, to enjoy the moment, and to meet locals. That's why it's always nice while traveling to go to little places as well, not to big places, to travel by car a little bit, to explore some more, and to talk
Yes, to talk.
to
Yeah.
locals.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, I think I appreciate your time so much and to give my audience idea of what the Southern European lifestyle is like and how, everything from our need to have more food and our need um, for to have more money and our need to have this perfect body and whatever um that somehow that's going to bring us happiness when I think what you've described to us is it's all about sharing of love, sharing of conversation, enjoying the moment, whether that's the food we're
Being
eating.
friendly, because
Yes.
we always need to start from ourselves. If we want friendly response, we need to be friendly to start the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Easy. I think it's so easy, but people forget about it.
Yeah.
Especially Northern people, they're very serious, have serious faces, very straightforward. It's good sometimes, but maybe not in South Europe. Probably here it's better to be as friendly as possible, and you will feel that friendliness towards you.
Yeah.
And I think the best feeling.
Yes. Okay. Well, and I'm not going to end the podcast without telling people that, if you're ever in Italy and you want some beautiful photos to be done, then I'll contact me and I'll set you up with Anastasia. But if you just search her name, and we'll link your Instagram account
Thank you.
to
Thank you.
in the show notes as well. But I mean, she did such a marvelous like she made me feel so comfortable, and she went over and above by loaning me her dress and her hat and her coat. And I think there was even more, her glasses. I mean, anything that she could do to make me feel like
Experience this Italian dolce vita.
exactly.
And to create exactly the pictures that you were thinking about.
Yes. Yeah. She incorporated, my business side along with my freestyle life and casual life. And yeah, it was the playfulness, the business part, and she tied it all together so nicely. And I was just so happy with the photos. And um, all you need to do is go to my website and you'll see a lot of those photos. I incorporate my photos a lot. And actually the podcast, if whenever I do a solo episode, like the images that they choose of me in the podcast, like reels and stuff like that, on Instagram, are pictures from my photo shoot in April of last year. So
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much, Luella, for your beautiful words. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for
I feel
agreeing.
really happy that you enjoyed it, because I really always treat people as I want to be treated myself. So
Mm-hmm.
then the real needs of each person, and that's why all my photo shoots I do.
Well, and like, let's be honest, I've been in touch with you multiple times ever since the shoot. Like, I mean, I think, it's not only a photographer, but a friend for me now. So
That's true. That's
yes,
so
yes,
beautiful to hear that.
of course. Yeah, beautiful.
And
Okay. And
thank you for having me here.
yes, well, you're most welcome. And this is one of the episodes that you should really watch on my YouTube, because then you can see Anastasia and her beauty inside and out. So take
Bye.
care, and I know I'll be talking to you soon. Everyone else, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks once again for joining me on another great episode of I Think I Can podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe below so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And until next week, treat each day like it was your last, because each new day is a privilege that we shan't take for granted. Cheers and have a great week. Bye-bye.